Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Thread. We are so happy for you to join us. Okay, so first of all, I want to give a big thank you to the new sponsors that I want to mention in the Daily Thread. That is our friends at Sensible Marketing. Shimmy, Ron, Jeremy, the team at Sensible, they are experts in the nursing home marketing world. If you are in the nursing home world, then you definitely know about Sensible. They maximize your census growth and your census potential. They even do something really cool, virtual tours of nursing homes. So if let's say you have a nursing home and you want people to know or see what type of nursing home you have, they host virtual tours of the nursing home. If you need to get in touch with Sensible, you can go ahead and head to sensiblemarketing.com. I met with them just a few weeks ago. Shimmy, Ron, and Jeremy, they are amazing, amazing people. This is part of their brand, by the way. Good Times,
really?
the sweatshirt that I'm wearing right now. Good Times, because listen, they are all about positive vibes and good times, which might be a chiddush in the nursing home world, but not when it comes to Sensible, because they take care of all of their nursing homes, and the nursing homes take care of their residents. So a big thank you to Sensible for joining the family. Getting to our stories for today. So this morning, we woke up to some interesting news out of the Five Towns.
Yes.
The story via Yeshiva World, but we've seen it in many other places. A wild shootout in Far Rockaway. Stray bullet shot through a window of Yeshiva Siach Yitzchak. A fight that turned violent between two men near Yeshiva Siach Yitzchak in Far Rockaway early Monday morning resulted in a stray bullet being shot through a yeshiva window. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. The yeshiva building is not believed to have been targeted in the incident. The NYPD sources tell Yeshiva World that they are on the lookout for two black males, one of whom they believe have already been identified. A bullet hole could be seen in the window of the school's building on Monday morning. Though Siach Yitzchak's administrators say it will be swiftly repaired and will have no impact on the children's learning.
Okay.
So that's, crisis averted. Something like this happens a few hours later. The yeshiva is full of kids, and the room in which that bullet flew through, God forbid, who knows what could happen. So thank God this happened at a time where nobody was in that building. This also used to be a place where I lived just, maybe 100 feet from. So not a good feeling. This is a Jewish area, by the way. I don't want people to think like this is a very, very densely populated from Jewish area.
Yeah, there's a lot of shuls, a lot of people, a lot of from homes, But it just this brings home to roost, so to speak. Is it a gun problem or is it a people problem? I mean, the liberal Democrats
You
talk.
want to have the Second Amendment debate right now?
No, very quickly. Did the gun shoot itself, or did somebody shoot the gun? If the gun was just there by itself, would it have shot itself through the window of the yeshiva? Probably not. It took a person with a criminal orientation, no doubt with a long criminal record, to shoot the gun, right? So
Yeah.
that's the debate. What is it? Is it people or is it guns? Guns don't shoot themselves. Guns are very often used for good purposes. In this case, which is the purpose of the Second Amendment, was for people to be able to defend themselves and their families. Or you're supposed to be a sitting duck when you're confronted with danger. That's the question.
You're in favor of people bearing arms.
Well, interestingly enough, the same debate is going on in Israel right now, because you have a right-wing public security minister who we mention very often on this program, Itamar Ben-Gvir, and he is of the opinion that anyone that served in the police previously or in the military previously should be carrying a gun to just be on alert if need be. And you shouldn't have to. I mean, there are school shootings in this country over the last few years where there was security people, but regulations were that they're not allowed to be armed, and because they weren't allowed to be armed, all they could do was call 911 and wait for the police to show up. And by that time, who knows how many kids were dead in some schools. One down here in Florida, happened in other parts of the country too. But if this business of not allowing guns, when they say they don't allow guns in school, yes, they mean the kids should not bring guns to school. We could all agree on that. The kids should not be bringing guns to school, but security officers should be armed to protect the people in the facility.
Over the weekend, I guess you can call it a kolkare. Artificial intelligence was banned by Skver. They authored the use of tools such as ChatGPT. And what's believed to be the first of its kind. More than a dozen Rabbanim and Dayanim from the Skver Hasidus have signed a strongly worded letter ostering the use of AI chatbots. This is very interesting to me because I think they already banned the use of internet. So
Yeah.
you can't possibly
Okay.
use AI if you can't use the internet.
All right. So how does that work? You can't have you can't have internet at home. You can't have a smartphone. I mean,
Oh my gosh! Listen to this. It says in the letter. It says in the letter. Therefore, the letter says the use of AI is strictly prohibited in every way and form, even on a phone. Even on a phone.
so if you have a phone,
But I don't get it. Like, there's not really many other ways to use AI other than on a phone.
well, you can use it on a stationary computer, can't you? You can use it on an
But
iPad.
didn't they ban internet? Like, didn't they just
Well,
already?
I think so. Maybe that's a way of telling people that the message is not being effective. It's not being
Listen, they're
heard.
not far. I'll tell you, they're not far off because Elon Musk did meet with President Biden recently to discuss, somehow limiting, not President Biden, with Chuck Schumer, to somehow limiting the advances of AI because it's getting to a dangerous place where there are deep fakes and there are just really a scary amount of things that can happen with artificial intelligence. So they're not far off with this ban.
Well, we discussed it last week. I mean, I think you said, I mean, if you feel that it's getting out of control, why don't you just turn it off or delete it? How is artificial intelligence going to be able to control humanity? Do you get that? Do you understand that?
Yeah, I think it can. I think it
How?
can.
How?
Because if you thought that we were in an age of misinformation in a dangerous way now, right? Like in a 2018 or 2020 election, 2016 election, you just wait until AI. When there are videos of people talking and they're saying the craziest things, and it's not actually them saying it, it's AI generated. So I've seen videos of LeBron James sitting up at a press conference and
Mhm.
he's saying the craziest things. I'm like, what? He said that?
Yeah,
And then you look in the comments and you see that this video was generated by artificial intelligence. So
okay, it's dangerous.
that's just it's extremely dangerous. And what I'm mentioning is not even the tip of the iceberg of what can be accomplished. Those things are very medial. But what about when it comes to leaders of countries or terrorist organizations?
Okay,
It can be very
I read somewhere that it could affect yeshivas because AI will be able to ask kashas and say pshat on Gemara, Rashi, and Tosfos that have never been said before. Because,
no. So I was by a Pesach program and Rabbi Ari Bergman spoke and a question was asked about artificial intelligence and the way that he answered, he said AI can have all the answers, but what it doesn't have is the questions. Only a human can ask the questions, and only a yid can ask the questions that we ask when it comes to our Gemaras. And the only way AI can give you what it gives you is if you prompt it with a good question, right? And the questions come from us.
all right, that's
Will it
good.
honestly? I'm not going to be naive and say like that's a matter of fact because I do think AI is going to develop in a way where it's going to ask the questions. Listen, there's so I'm not like calling them out for banning it. I think they're definitely maybe even ahead of their time. I think that it's problematic. It's AI can be pretty scary in how it's used.
It also could be very proficient and help to facilitate the spread of knowledge. I think, like everything else in the
I think
world,
yeah.
there's a good part, there's a positive part of it, and there's a negative part to it. And you know, a car could be used to take you to good places, and a car never could be used to, unfortunately, to hurt somebody accidentally or inadvertently. So that's the nature of our existence, I think, in this world is how we
Yeah.
utilize the things. The only thing about AI is that maybe there's a potential that humanity will lose control of it. That's the only thing that makes it different from
Well, I think
everything
that's
else.
the concern. I think that's the concern. That's why Elon Musk met with Chuck Schumer to sort of figure out how they can slow the. It started with chatbots and Chat GPT, but now there are other tools within AI
Yeah.
that can accomplish things that you would never imagine. So it's pretty scary what could happen, and we got to be ahead of it. Another story here that I think is worth bringing up, just because we're getting into that season, that summertime, people go swimming. Unfortunately, an athlete on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, star linebacker, his daughter passed away in a drowning accident. Shaquille Barrett's 2-year-old daughter reportedly drowned over the weekend in a family swimming pool at their home.
Mhm.
The Tampa Bay Times reported that police responded to the home on Sunday morning after receiving a call about a child who had fallen into a pool. First responders deployed life-saving measures on Araya Barrett, who was rushed to the hospital but was later pronounced deceased, the report said. It's extremely tragic to hear such news of a child losing their life, really anyone losing their life. But if you have a pool, or if you're going and you have a lake or something, we can't stress enough the safety, whether it's having a fence, with that fence having a lock, or whatever it is, to make sure that these things don't happen. I'm sure we're going to repeat this when it comes, much closer to the summertime, but it's super important to keep in mind. Our thoughts go out to this family. It's such a
Right.
tragic thing.
That's one of those things that we were just talking about that could be used for a positive, pleasurable thing, or it could be very dangerous. Kids love swimming, adults love swimming, especially in a hot climate in the summertime, like you said. But unfortunately, there's a downside to it, and requires us to be super cautious.
Something else that I think is worth noting is, over the weekend, the Milwaukee Bucks, professional basketball team who had the best record in the NBA, lost in the playoffs. They lost, and something that was pretty shocking, they did not, it's a first seed team that lost to an 8th seed Miami seed. And Bucks, an NBA superstar, Giannis Antetokounmpo, pronounced that name pretty well, was asked, was this season a failure? And how he responded is making waves through the Yeshiva world. So we're going to go ahead and share that with you. This is what he responded.
I just asked Bud the exact same question, but I'm curious for you. Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them, or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, And if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me? No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why are you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. There's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're going to come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have 10 days stretch with playing bad basketball, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures? No, it was not. It was steps to it, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one. Sorry that I didn't want to make it personal, because you asked me the same question last year, and last year I was in the right mind space to answer the question back, but I remember it.
That is our episode for today's Daily Thread. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, leave a rating. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please make sure to reach out to us at thedailythread@meaningfulminute.org. We will see you again tomorrow.